Are we mentally dusty? That's the question we're asking today on The Art of Lifing with Keka. If I gave you a piece of paper and a pen and said, "Can you draw a picture of a cougar for me, please?" what would you say? Well, if you're an artistic type and you have a lot of confidence in your drawing capabilities, you'd probably say, "No problem, give me that pen and paper and I'll draw it for you." But I bet the average adult is probably going to say, "Oh, I don't know how to draw a cougar," because it's not something that we do on a daily basis. But how many times would you see or hear a young child say to you, "I don't know how to draw a cougar"? What I've noticed is that with kids, when you give them a task that they haven't done before, they don't have predetermined labels for themselves in terms of what they're good at or what they're not good at. They're just going to try. And even if the cougar doesn't look like a cougar, it doesn't matter. They're just going to draw it anyway. And there is a can-do attitude about kids that I think is so precious and so beautiful that we often end up losing that as we grow up into adults. Because if you give somebody a pen and a paper and say, "Draw a cougar," and they draw something to their heart's content, as they start to grow older in class, that classroom teacher is going to grade them and maybe give them a good grade or a bad grade and label them. You're good at this or you're not good at this. And as we grow older, we keep getting other people's rules set on us, right? All throughout school, all throughout work, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And as we learn, we start learning other people's rules. And I think of this idea from the perspective of almost becoming dusty. You know, if we are ourselves and we shine as ourselves, and then someone says, "Oh, you're not supposed to do it that way, you're supposed to do it this way," there's a layer of dust. We try to do something, we might not be as successful as we'd like to be, then we label ourselves and we say, "Oh, there's another layer of dust." How many times have we heard adults say this? And I'm so guilty of this. I do it all the time where I'm like, "Oh, I'm not really good at that." Before I've even tried something, I've prejudged whether I'm going to be good or bad at it, and I might try to say that ahead of time just so that I can lighten up the expectations, for example. But as we become more and more mentally dusty, we stop shining as ourselves. And so then the question must be asked, how are we teaching ourselves to be us, to be who we are? You know, my husband said to me the other day, he thinks that imitation is the greatest form of laziness. And I thought, what a great quote. How profound, right? That if you are imitating somebody, then you're really not working to be yourself. And my older son, Caden, and I were talking the other day about work. And, you know, when you go into work, your boss is going to help you learn certain things. And as we were talking about how you should be listening to your boss or your manager as you grow, he said, so it's kind of like, you know, Simon Says, where you have to do everything that Simon says, and otherwise you lose the game. So when you go into work, is it all about what the boss says? And I thought, oh, wow. If we all operated like that, we wouldn't be ourselves. We would be so mentally dusty that we wouldn't shine as ourselves. And in fact, there are times in life where we have to break the rules, where when we see something that's not happening, that something that we believe shouldn't be happening, we have to stand up and hold our ground and speak for something. But how do we do that if we don't learn to be ourselves? So that's the key thing that I always ask myself, especially with my kids. Anytime we're in conversation, I really try to watch where I'm saying, "Oh, I'm not good at this," or "I'm not good at that." And I try not to do that, because at the end of the day, I want my kids to shine as themselves. But in that lesson, I have to teach myself as well how to be myself. That at the end of the day is one of the foundations about the art of lifing, because it's all about doing life on purpose and doing it on your own terms. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the content, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put out new videos every Tuesday. And you can also hit the little bell icon. It'll notify you every time a new video is out. If you know someone too that you think would benefit from this content, then please share the video with them. And I'd love it if you just like the video and give me any of your comments, because I really want to go on this journey with you together. So together, let's master the art of lifing and let's do life on purpose.